What's going on, guys? Shane here. Thanks for joining me. Hope you're all doing great. Today's going to be a video that we're going to be discussing paint, and more specifically tan paint. Now that can go by whatever name you want to call it. Magpul Flat Dark Earth, Desert Tan, Coyote Brown. We're just going to be calling it tan. Now if you guys are like me and you're looking to paint an AR-15, a shotgun, a pistol, anything for that matter, and you know you want something that's going to either match Magpul Flat Dark Earth exactly, get close to it, match like the tan back there of the Aero precision build, this video is going to be for you. I did a ton of research before buying only 2 cans really, and I actually got exactly what I wanted, and this is going to be a video that's going to show you just how close these colors do get. Now, just in case you don't have any of these, the Magpul parts or even the Aero Precision build as reference, I pulled every part that's tan out of my gun closet to show on camera and compare to these paint jobs. So hopefully if you have one of these, tan parts at home, you kind of know what you're getting into. So let's not waste any more time. Let's get the camera over the table, talk about this build, talk about the paint. We'll get that guy off the wall. Let's get it all covered, guys. Let's get it started. Alright guys, before we start talking about the paint here, I want to talk about this little build because this is really what started this whole process. I had a friend that actually showed me his super shorty AR-15 and it really piqued my interest, and I really wanted something smaller in overall length than what I currently had. This thing was sitting in my safe and it was rocking a 7.5-inch barrel. I'll find a video that I posted, I'll put it in the corner so you guys can check that out if you want to see what this looked like beforehand. And I really wanted to make this a shorty because it was in the safe, it was getting stale and boring, it needed an update, and after all, making a smaller build, for me, all it required was a shorter barrel. So I hopped online and I purchased a 4.75-inch barrel from KAK Industries. Now this barrel is much shorter than it looks because of how big this Noveske Flaming Pig really is. The shelf of the barrel for the gas block is right where my finger is, and the barrel ends right about here. So you're talking about barrel nut, and then right about here on that first m-lok slot is where the barrel ends. So I had the barrel picked out, it had been ordered, but now it was time to figure out the rail situation. And lucky for me, I do have a bunch of rails in my closet that I've had from reviews from before. So I took a Leapers UTG rail and I cut it down to size. This was a full length 16-inch, 15-inch rail that I cut myself. So if you guys are at home and you're wondering if you can do this sort of thing yourself, you can. I did this by hand with a Dremel. It took minimal effort and it turned out fantastic. I find it hard to believe that anyone looking at this thing from a foot or two away would even know that it was cut by hand. That didn't come from the factory that way. I'll try to roll in some B-roll so you guys can really see how good that really looks there at the end. So once we started that process up in the front, it was time to figure out the back. I reached out to my boys over at Strike Industries and they really hooked me up. This is one of their short pistol buffer tubes that ends right about here. It's much shorter than your standard buffer tube, and then SB Tactical again hooked me up. They sent out one of their minimalistic braces here to put on the end of this little pistol. Now here in the future we're going to be getting an actual new rail from Leapers UTG that is I think a 4.5-inch rail, so it's going to end somewhere around here, and I'm waiting for a company to come out with a mini linear comp that is about, I don't know, a third the size of this Noveske. So now let's go ahead and get to the paint. Now I don't think that was super clear in the beginning of this video. I think I misspoke it maybe just a little bit, but this video isn't about finding an exact match for Magpul Flat Dark Earth, even though I think this is as close as it gets. This was more of a video that I wanted to explain to you guys, if you are looking for that and you go out and you buy Brownells Aluminide to Magpul Flat Dark Earth, how close that's going to get you to Magpul's tan. Now the reason I went with this color setup is because of the 10.5-inch Aero Precision build that you guys saw on the wall in the intro. I built this and I really did enjoy the color, the contrast of the two tans on this rifle. I knew I wanted it on this super shorty, and since I was rebuilding it, I figured now was a good time to paint it. Now I really like those 50 shades of Flat Dark Earth that you see on Instagram and online. And I kind of joke that this is my 5 shades of Flat Dark Earth because this really doesn't have a ton of different variation of color, but this does have a good amount where if you guys have any of these parts, you can really take this video and compare it to what you have at home to see what the the color of these paints really are going to be when you get them in person, because we all know that cameras don't capture what the eye sees correctly. And also when I do the post editing, there's going to be some color correction there. I probably should do that, but I gotta get rid of some of these yellow tones in these videos. So you're not gonna see the exact color. Maybe I'll roll in some B-roll and I'll make little annotations that say that it hasn't been color corrected. But you can use these parts to really compare the paint color to what you have at home. So let's cover the parts from back to front of all the different shades of tan that we have on this pistol. Starting at the back here, we have the SB Tactical Minimalist Brace in their tan. We have Strike Industries anodized tan here on the buffer tube. You have Magpul's grip. You have a Strike Industries polymer safety selector in tan. You have Hex Mag's tan, their rail covers. I'm gonna be straight up honest with you guys. This is a cheap ghetto hand stop. This is such a small part that I think it's hard to screw up, that I don't have a problem spending $8 for a hand stop that fits the color scheme. So this is just going to be an off color of a hand stop. Now to talk about the other colors that we have to show you guys that I brought off the gun closet, we have KK Industries Blade, their blade brace. We also have a Enforce light in tan. I'll grab this just so you guys can see it maybe a little bit better. I'll put it here. This is a full version of the Hex Mag rail cover. Again, just so you guys can see it, I'll put it back off camera, but this is Strike Industries anodized tan for their 870 shotgun, the handguard. So you guys can kind of see where that lies here. Take a look because it's going away. Okay, and then lastly, I don't know where I'm going to put this. Maybe I can fit it up here. You have a Polymer 80 frame in the tan, the flat dark earth. So those are all the parts I pretty much have that I can pull out, put on the table so you guys can get a good idea, if you have any of these parts, how these colors are going to work. So let me get all these parts on the table. We've got that all out of the way so you guys can compare and contrast. Let's go ahead and talk about the paint. Now let's first approach what I was looking for was a body color that would really closely resemble or match the Aero Precision tan, because I do like that color a lot. Like I said, I did a ton of research and it pretty much fell on this Aero Coyote spray paint can you see here. I'll roll in some B-roll of the label and everything so you guys can see it. This color is, if it's not a direct match, it's as close as you're gonna get to that Aero Precision tan. Now I'll roll in some B-roll somewhere at some point where I'll probably throw this upper on this lower so you guys can see the difference. And I think when you put them side by side, you're gonna see that they're not identical, and they might not even look close when they're touching like that. But I can tell you from in person right here, looking at these two, it's as close as you're gonna get. So I'm really happy the way this turned out. I don't think I would go with either color from what I've seen online. That's why I picked this one. So if you're looking for, you know, an Aero Precision tan or something that has this tone compared to the color you have at home, that's the one for you. Now let's talk about the one thing I really wanted to cover in this video, and that's the Brownells Alumihide 2 Magpul Flat Dark Earth. Obviously, by the name, you would buy this because you would expect it to be an exact match to Magpul Flat Dark Earth. But if you guys want to know how close you're going to get, the parts out here, hopefully you guys can see or make a guess on which parts I painted. The two parts on this build that are painted in the Brownells Alumihide 2 Magpul Flat Dark Earth are the Leapers UTG mag here and the Strike Industries in plate here with the QD on the back. Also, if you look up here, the EOTech shroud and the battery housing, I also painted in the Magpul Flat Dark Earth from Brownells. So you can see how close they are, but it's not a direct match. I don't think it ever will be. Now going back a couple of steps to the EOTech shroud and battery housing here, this is kind of what started the whole process. I actually was painting this before this build was even a thought in my brain. So I was looking for a color to match Magpul Flat Dark Earth, and I just kind of goofed. I went out to a local hardware store, and that's where this comes in. This is absolutely a paint you should absolutely avoid if you're looking to get a color, a tone, anywhere close to the plethora of tans you see here on the table. I just kind of took this, sprayed it on the housing and the body, thinking it would be close, and obviously you guys can tell by the label of the cap here that it's not. I don't know what I was thinking, but this color is no bueno. I apologize for not having actual video of how bad it looks. I just have some pictures that I was so shocked how bad it turned out that I took pictures on my phone to send them to my friends. So those are the pictures you're gonna see here on the B-roll. So if you're looking for a drastic change in color, this will do just fine. But if you're looking for something in the ballpark, definitely avoid the camouflage Rust-Oleum paint. I also want to make sure I talk about the quality of paint here. Now, this isn't a knock on Aero at all, but when I was using this paint, it did just seem like a typical standard spray paint that you just, when you put it on and you feel it and touch it with your hand, you just have this feeling that you have to protect it with a clear coat, which I did. So this little pistol here does have a few coats of clear just to protect the paint. Now the Alumahide too from Brownells is a completely different story. The minute you spray this on, you get some overspray on something, you get it on your hand, you realize this stuff is going to go on your AR-15, your parts, and it's never going to come off. I even reached out to some friends who have used the Alumahide on their firearms and firearm accessories, and they did it years ago, and they said it hasn't chipped or anything at all. So this is, no joke, legit paint that's going to coat your firearm and stay on there and be durable. So if you guys are just looking for a quick spray and forget, not to worry about that clear coat, Brownells is definitely the way to go. And also, they do offer a ton of different colors. I think they have 3 or 4 different tans on top of, you know, black, grays, all that sort of thing, OD green. So if you're just looking to paint your gun, this is the way to go. And if you guys follow my channel, you know I have painted an AR-15 before in that battle-worn bazooka green, and it turned out fantastic. So if you guys are looking for some tips, tricks, some things to definitely avoid when painting an AR-15, I'll annotate that video in the corner. You guys can click on that, go check it out, and get some, like I said, some tips and tricks on how to paint your AR-15. While you guys are here, I'll give you a little tip on the Brownells Alumahide 2. If you guys are using this paint, be sure that when you're done that you clean that tip. I actually had a glass mug that I had acetone in that I dropped the nozzle in every night or after every session of painting to keep that nozzle clean, because like I said, that stuff is sticking, it's there to stay, it's not going to come off your rifle. And the same thing is true with that nozzle. If you let that paint dry in that tip, you're going to have a really hard time, if not no time at all. You're going to have any chance of getting paint out of that nozzle and get a nice even coat on your AR-15. I guess it would be smart if I actually took the Magpul Flat Dark Earth paint and really just held it side by side against the Magpul parts. You guys can see, as you can see, there's that paint line from where I painted the mag itself. So there you go. You guys can see side by side the paint color and how it looks. And it's definitely, like you can see, it's definitely not a direct match. Can I get this in here without rocking the table? But if you get it, you're gonna get a color that is close. That's probably gonna you're gonna be happy with, and it's just gonna give you a nice, great, strong, durable coating on your pistol, rifle, or shotgun. Alright guys, the thing to keep in mind is that Magpul itself has also changed color in its tan over time. This is a Generation 1 PMag, and this is a PMag I got online within a month or two ago. So as you can see, these two are pretty drastically different. So the color isn't consistent between Magpul either, but now you can kind of see how the Brownells Magpul Flat Dark Earth compares to the old generation coloring and the new. Now I don't know if that difference in color also is happening with their parts. I would assume so. So if you guys even have a mix of old and new Magpul parts, you might have different shades as well. But that's just so you guys can kind of get a reference of, again, how that paint looks against both shades of Magpul Flat Dark Earth. Alright guys, that about wraps it up. Hopefully you guys found this video informative. Hopefully you saw how close these two paint cans come to matching Magpul Flat Dark Earth and the Aero Precision Tan in the background there. Hopefully this saves you guys a bunch of time in doing research online and all of that money on, maybe spending money on cans, only to find out once you paint it that it doesn't come anywhere close to the two colors you wanted. But yeah guys, that about wraps it up. I appreciate your time. Again, I hope it helped. If it did and you found the video informative, feel free to give it a like. It helps out more than you know. If you guys aren't subscribed, feel free to do so. If you are, I appreciate it. Make sure you hit the notification bell as usual. And that's it guys. Take care, stay safe. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.